What up, guys? James from Bolt Bros here. Hey, beautiful Victory Monday once against the Rams. Love seeing that game. Beautiful game to be able to watch and see a big beat down that the Chargers gave the Rams this week. Now, once again, people are posing the question, are we just beating a bunch of bad teams? Who knows? I'll talk a little bit about it here, give you some more game notes and some more positivity going into the final regular season game. So, once again, guys, James from Bolt Bros, let's go. Victory Monday. Love it. We got to go get your guys' victory brisket today. That's a great plan. It seems to be working. I've been doing it a little bit more often this season and late in this season. Maybe that's the whole thing. We just need to do what Justin Herbert's doing, eating brisket after a victory. Maybe that's what we need to do as a fan base, guys. So once again, guys, big win, 31-10 over the Rams. Beautiful game to be able to watch. It's interesting because a lot of people are kind of looking at this as, hey, you're just beating bad teams. Sure, I could understand that. But do realize from the Raider game, after the Raider game, I should say, to now, the Dolphins were a winning team. They were in the running in the 5th seed, actually getting close to being the 1st seed in that division in the AFC East. You do realize that the Titans were the division leader in the AFC South, technically having a slide at this point. They were even the 1 seed at a certain point of the season, but they have just gone into a complete meltdown as a team. It seems like since that Eagles game, that basically just really changed that whole team. And then the GM got fired and everything from that point. So interesting thing. The beautiful thing about this whole thing, guys, is yes, we are beating a lot of teams right now that are probably not very good. Obviously, the Colts are not very good, but they did beat the Chiefs, by the way. Even to say the Rams are not good. They've had a billion injuries there, and they just cannot get that team put together anymore. With the Titans, they're in a slump. Dolphins, one of the most streakiest teams, if you've ever seen this season, have gone from 3-0 to 3-3 to win 5 to lose 5 kind of situation. They're just all over the place right now. It's insane. But the thing about it is, if you've been a Chargers fan and you have seen this Chargers fan in the past, Chargers team in the past, we find ways to lose these games. We find ways to be able to lose to bad teams. We find ways to play on their level and lose to them. And so that's the beautiful thing about this whole thing, guys, that we are finding ways to still beat these teams and play our football and play the football that matters to us. We always try to play on this plane to where we stay on their level, not our level. And as an example, last season, that Texans game that we lost, it was a COVID game. Our team looked like a mess. Even after that game, Brandon Staley talked a lot about it and said, hey, man, I didn't have our guys in the right places. Players weren't in the right position. I didn't really coach them up enough kind of thing. And as we could see now, this team is being coached well. Players are in the right places now. We are finding ways to be able to have, people missing, Derwin James, for instance, and still being highly effective as a defense. We only gave up 10 points yesterday. That's awesome. We are currently under 11 points on average for the last 4 games that we've been giving up on defense. That is massive, guys. That is huge difference from what we've had. What we've been doing most of the time through the defense, through the season, we've even at a high point, I think we're at averaging about 26 points a game that we're giving up on defense. Now, the last 4 games are different. Dolphins, Titans, Colts, Rams, all different. But the thing is, though, the Dolphins are a very high-powered offense. The week before that we played the Colts, they scored 36 points on the Vikings. Now, albeit I think the Vikings have one of the worst defenses in the league. But besides that point, they can put up points, and they did put up points. We didn't allow that to happen, guys. We only gave up 3 points. And technically, those 3 points were really more our fault because we gave up a lot of penalties during that drive to be able to allow them to be in a field goal position. But besides the point, our defense is playing extremely well. And this is what you need to do to teams that are not good. You need to destroy them, basically. And it was beautiful to watch that yesterday against the Rams. Beautiful thing that I heard too, a lot of fans over there were saying about 80% of the stadium was Chargers fans. That's awesome. That's the things that we need to see from LA. That's the things that we need to see from our fan base, that they show up to these type of games and turn out and make that stadium just wild. You know, the Chargers locker room is turned up right now. SoFi Stadium needs to be turned up with our Chargers fans. So it's great to be able to see that. Great to hear that. Great to be able to know this team is really, really rolling right now. So one note I'm going to bring up here too. We got a couple different things that I want to chat about this game. Now, Herbert has now a total of 98 total touchdowns in his career in his first 3 seasons. So he has 92 pass, 92 pass, 6 rush. So he is currently now tied with Dan Marino with 98, total touchdowns. He actually, let me go back on that. Dan Marino basically has a total of 100 total touchdowns in his first 3 seasons. Herbert has 98 total touchdowns in his first 3 seasons now. So he needs to get 2, 3 to break it, basically. So kind of cool to be able to see how that happens. He has a game against the Broncos, which still can be a very critical game for us. We are sitting at the 5 seed. We still just need to win, or the Ravens need to lose to the Bengals upcoming weekend to be able to solidify us for the 5 seed. So worst we could be is the 6 seed. The best we could be is the 5th seed at this point. So great to be able to see that. Now we will play the AFC South if we do stay in the 5th seed. So that'll be the Titans or Jags, which they are going head to head on Saturday night. So big game there for us to be able to know kind of what's going to happen with that 5th seed. So all we got to do is keep winning, guys. I want to be able to win out for the rest of the season. Find a way to be able to be 11-6. That's huge for us based upon all the turmoil we've got through this week. I'll go through all the playoff scenarios again this week later on. But let's talk about this Rams game further. So we're finally at a point to where we are scoring more on offense versus defense now. I mean, we basically have had a tough situation where we're very upside down, giving up more points on defense than we're scoring on offense. Wild to say that we're sitting at a point of 10-6 now, that we've had that kind of issue throughout the week, or throughout the year. The thing that's interesting about that, though, is that Chargers we've talked about it many times. They've found a lot of ways to just kind of gut through these games, grind through them, find a way to be able to get through it. You know, Brandon Staley talks a lot about no flinch. We're a no flinch based team. And we were just trying to find ways to win. The saying that I made up is that we get beat bad, but we barely end up winning, basically. And so that's kind of where we're at. Now we're at this point where we're starting to just win big and beating teams badly. And so it's kind of wild to see. Now, stats wise, we kind of say on the paper right now, you say, hey, we're 22.9 points on offense average per game and 22.1 points on giving up on defense per game. Now, that's not huge margin by any means, but at the same side has been a huge difference for us, for our stats on paper. Our defense is playing phenomenal. Our offense played phenomenal yesterday. Our tight ends got very involved. Parham got a touchdown. Gerald Everett got a touchdown. Austin Eckler balled out, probably won many people a championship in fantasy football this week. We're doing well. That's the big things that we need to see going into this last game against the Broncos. We need to see our offense start building up and keep our defense at the same level where they're at. We are playing great football. And once again, if you've been a Chargers fan like me for multiple decades, Chargers find ways to be able to lose winnable games and at the wrong time. So they are finding ways to win games right now, guys. We are on a 4-game win streak right now. We have the ability to be able to go into the playoffs with a 5-game win streak. If you guys listened to my last video about the playoffs. The Bucks, when they won the Super Bowl as a wild card team in 2020, that season they went on a 4-game win streak going into the playoffs and then ended up winning all the way to the Super Bowl. It could be something here that we could be building. Now, once again, history has not been set with this 2022 Chargers team, but it's great to be able to see the momentum going into the playoffs. We are a dangerous team right now, regardless of what teams we're playing right now. We're playing very sound football. I'm going to give a massive shout out to Kyle Van Noy. We've been chatting a lot about that. Kyle Van Noy has stepped up as a leader, and he has been a guy that has shown it on the field on top of that too. He hasn't been playing well up till about 4 or 5 games this season, and we have found a way to be able to he has actually found a whole new gear, and I love seeing that. That's why we have these guys that have won multiple Super Bowls. That's why we have these guys that have done that and know what a championship football team is. Just to give you an idea, Kyle Van Noy has 4 sacks in the last 4 games with the fumble recovery yesterday. Morgan Fox, another guy that's been just out there and done really well. 4 sacks in the last 4 games. Sebastian Joseph Day got a sack yesterday too. Beautiful thing to be able to watch, guys. We're starting to see these guys. Sebastian Joseph Day, once again, is a guy that did win a Super Bowl with the Rams last year, albeit he did get injured, but was on the team and was a part of that team to be able to get a Super Bowl for the Rams last year. These guys are the leaders of this team. These are the guys that have been around the league, and these are guys that have won it. So this defense is playing on a whole new level. Our offense is starting to catch up to them. That's all we need to see. I would love to be able to see Justin Herbert get 3 touchdowns next game, just to be able to say, hey, I have scored 101 touchdowns in his first 3 seasons. Incredible, man. Once again, we got a special guy on our team called Justin Herbert. You should know him. So one other stat I'm going to pull up is 3rd down conversions in the last 4 games. This is a pretty solid stat. We've only had 10 3rd down conversions in our last 4 games, guys. 4 games, 10 3rd down conversions. That's a 23% completion rate on 43 attempts versus our defense for 3rd downs. That is insane, guys. I mean, we are balling out right now. And honestly, you could kind of look at it and say, hey, look, we're just gelling as a defense. We're just gelling as a team right now. But we're finding ways to make it difficult for teams to move the ball on us. That is major. Confidence on this defense, confidence on this team has developed. And when you start having that swag as a team, that ability to be able to say, hey, we know you're not going to score, let's say 10 points on us. This team can be in a very dangerous team going into the playoffs, bottom line. I'm just trying to find my words on this because this team is playing on such a high level right now that they know they are who we thought they were. Remember that one? We just found out that this defense is really growing. Earlier in the season, remember, we went through a lot of turmoil with this team. We kept bagging on, Staley, saying, hey, his defense isn't working. This team is not doing well. Justin Herbert's not balling out. Yeah, I get it. But guess what? We're getting hot at the right time, guys. And we're beating teams that we normally would find a way to lose or play on their level in some manner. We're not playing a lot of heart attack games. Yesterday was one of the first days in a very long time that I felt like I wasn't having a heart attack during the game. My heart rate wasn't going crazy at that point. I felt extremely confident about it. And this defense and this team feels very confident about themselves. It's great to have that feeling, guys. So a couple stats I'm going to throw out here for you. We're 6th in the league versus the pass, only allowing 196 yards per game. That is major for us. Now, in contrast, we're 27th versus the run at 142 yards. Hey, that's not beautiful by any means, but the thing about it is passing yards will kill you more than rushing yards. Yesterday, if you think about it, there was only about 2 big explosive plays on the ground. One was through Austin Eckler with a 72 or 76 yard touchdown that he ended up getting, balling out Austin Eckler, and then big run by Cam Akers too, to be able to give them a lot more yards on the ground. But the thing about it is that's a very rare circumstance that teams will be able to have huge rushing games on you. It's more common to be able to have a lot more yards through the air to be able to hurt you. And so if we could keep that number down for the amount of pass yards we give up on defense, it really sets us up for success, and it sets us up in the right position to be able to win. Crazy stat, and I've said this a couple times, Justin Herbert's 18-4 if our defense gives 27 points up a game. That's wild. Think about that. Right now, we are averaging under 11 points per game that we're giving up. That is insane. So that puts us in winning football position. Even if we give up 27 points a game for our on our defense, or they score on our defense, we still have a quarterback that could go out there and get us that W. Anyways, it's major to see this, guys. This is awesome to be able to see what this team is doing right now. I'm going to end with one big stat here, guys. We are averaging in the last 4 games only 238 yards a game that we're giving up on defense. That is massive. We still are probably sitting in the number 1 defense in the league for the last 4 years. We got some great things going on here, guys. And I'm excited about what this team can be and will be in the playoffs. I'm excited to be able to see Justin Herbert and see what he could do and unleash the Herbert. I'm excited to be able to see what, even to say, Lombardi could do in the playoffs. This is going to be an interesting thing for us because it is one of those guys that we've really been attacking quite a bit. And there is some positivity. It's very easy to be able to harp on him for the negativity. But we are playing very sound football. Yesterday's game showed that, hey, we could beat bad teams and do it well and make them not even have any chance by any means. And Lombardi has done some little things that have really, really shown up. He's done some things that are very questionable. Once again, the hook routes are kind of the continuing thing that we're doing here. But bottom line, guys, it's exciting times right now for this Chargers team. Confidence is an all-time high for the team, and I really feel for the fan base too right now. So it's exciting to see that, guys. So once again, guys, let's keep winning. Let's get this other win against the Broncos this weekend, who actually played the Chiefs pretty good this weekend, by the way. But let's keep going, guys. Let's get this win. Stay healthy. Let's get to this playoffs, and let's get going. Bolt up, guys. Let's keep it going, guys. So let's roll. Bolt Bros. Let's go.